What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to do my review of Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. And if you're new to this channel, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to reach 200 subscribers, so if you do subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it and you'd really be helping out my channel. Now with that out of the way, let's get into this review. So Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers has been on Disney Plus for a little while now, and I didn't know exactly what to expect from this movie because I didn't watch many trailers for it. I just knew that it was out, and I didn't really grow up watching the Chip 'n Dale show, or like the Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers show or anything like that, so I didn't have a lot of nostalgia for this IP. Didn't really know what to expect, but when I sort of saw images of this movie, I was just sort of thinking it might be just like a fun family film, and that's what I got out of this movie. I thought it was just a fun movie that the whole family can watch. I think if you were somebody who grew up with this IP, I think you will love this movie. I think there's a lot in there for the fans of these characters and of the show to like. But as someone who didn't grow up with it, never really watched it, I still found it to be fairly entertaining. So I think a lot of people will like this movie. It's fun. It's got some good humor for adults, but there's also a lot for little kids, which is nice. The characters in it are likable. They got a nice presence. One thing I was a little nervous about was how the sort of CGI characters and the live action characters would work together, sort of on the same screen at the same time. And at first it was kind of distracting. I always feel that just because it looks so off having these cartoon characters alongside like real life people, but after a while you stop sort of noticing it and accept it. It's fine. But one thing I did like about it was they had characters from different eras and they use a type of CGI on them from that era or from the show that they were from. So there's some that look great with their CGI and there's some that look really bad, but they're supposed to look really bad. So I really like that they did that. I thought it was kind of fun. One thing that I thought was really fun in this movie is that there's a lot of nice Easter eggs and cameos from a bunch of other characters from different IP throughout this movie. So I thought that was really fun, but it was also kind of interesting because this was a Disney movie. It's on Disney Plus, but there's a lot of cameos and like Easter eggs of characters from properties and studios that are not Disney. So I thought that was a little interesting that they were able to do that. I don't know if they had to, pay all these studios a bit of money to use them briefly or what, or if there's some kind of rule where if you use them with a set amount of time, it's okay. I don't know. So I thought that was interesting, but it was fun seeing all these characters. I enjoyed that. The plot is, for this movie, I think it's pretty good. It's not, it's a family-friendly film, so it's not going to be a very big plot where you have to really concentrate on it. It's a pretty simple plot, and that's fine for this movie that they're making or made. It works. The characters at the start, for me, it kind of felt familiar what they're doing from other movies where they bring back old IP, like The Muppets from 2011, where you had a group of characters that worked together, years ago, and then they've sort of split up, gone their separate ways, and then they all have to be recruited again. I felt a bit of that at the start of this movie. It felt a bit familiar in that respect, but even when it felt familiar, it managed to stay really charming. Like the characters, I enjoyed them. The actors that did the voice work for Chip 'n Dale I thought were really good. I was always entertained with this one, even when the story was just sort of, yeah, it's fine. I thought it was always charming. The characters, like I said, were likable. There's some good laughs in this. As for issues I have with this movie, I have a few. There's one main human character in this movie, and I don't know, I felt she wasn't too strong. She was just kind of a forgettable character. Also, there's twists and turns in this movie, and I found a lot of them to be pretty predictable, which wasn't, when you have a bunch of them, it's not fun when you can see all them coming, but maybe they're meant more for the little kids rather than the adults. And then finally, the villain. Wasn't a fan of the villain. Like, I understood why the villain was doing what they were doing. Like, that wasn't the problem. It's more who the villain was, and in case you haven't seen the movie, I will not say who it is, but it was a character that I really liked, and one of the characters I kind of grew up with, so I wasn't happy that they were the villain. And then by the end of the movie, in the final climactic part of the movie, I thought it just got a little too over the top with the villain for my liking. I'm sure other people will be fine with it, but for me, wasn't too big on it. But other than that, that was mainly it. I just, like I said, it's a fun movie. It's nothing great in my opinion, but it's a fun movie that the whole family can enjoy. So overall, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers was a fun movie. I think if you have Disney Plus, you should check it out. Even if you're not familiar with this IP, you may still enjoy it. I wasn't too familiar, and I still thought it was a good movie. I think if people are fans of the IP, I think they'll really like this movie and get a lot more out of it. But still, if you're not a fan, I think you should still check it out if you have Disney Plus. For me, I'm going to give Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers a 72%. I think it's a very solid movie. And stay tuned for my upcoming videos. My next video is probably going to be a review of the 1967 version of Casino Royale. I'll be continuing my James Bond movie reviews with that one, and that one I haven't seen before. I've seen all the other ones before, so we'll see what that one's like. As well, I'm slowly making my way through Stranger Things Season 3, so there'll be a review for that coming up shortly, so stay tuned for those. And until my next review, take care everybody.